snuggled in the small mountain community of Brevard, North Carolina, is a woman with a big job.
My work is to dismantle racism because I think it's contrary to what God wills.
Fay's the kind of person that if she cares about something, she can't care and sit still. That caring has to take legs and arms and become active.
She is someone who sees a problem and goes after it and makes a difference and is persistent.
I think that my mom doesn't take on race relations as a project or a mission. It's the fabric of her life.
She's not doing it because it is a good thing to do. It's the season to help blacks, or it's the season to help browns. I mean, she does it because she feels that there's got to be justice and peace.
This is a very, very important issue to Fay Walker, and she's going to make it aware to anybody who's willing to listen and to those people who are not willing to listen.
My simple message is that racism is really better defined as white privilege. And it assigns to me and people who look like me positions of power and prestige and advantage. And it assigns to persons of color positions of significantly less influence, less power, less advantage. And I think that it is time for white folks to take the responsibility to talk to white folks about race. And there's not anything glamorous about that. And no one will love you for doing it.
Fay's mission in Brevard began several years ago when she read an article in the paper.
I just read in the newspaper locally that the Ku Klux Klan had requested a permit to march. And it broke my heart. I thought, it's time to do something about this.
Once again, I think using the creative, nonviolent approach of saying, we don't need to add to their fuel by attending that march. We need to be creating an alternative event.
So Fay was really the catalyst for getting people together to meet in a church, black and white people, simply to pray together, to offer a different sort of force than that force of hatred and exclusion that was coming into Brevard.
Out of the seeds of that meeting, a biracial group called Friends emerged to help build racial bridges in the community.
And then they came again. They came in 1989, they came in 1992. And in 1992, our Friends group initiated the statement opposing the Klan and got the 1,400 signatures and ran an ad in the local paper. We were proud to have 1,400 signatures on that. And I will never forget that a person of color said to me upon looking at that, I had no idea there were 1,400 people in this town that would go that public in opposition to the Klan.
That was the spark. Since then, Fay has helped organize many race-related programs, such as Bridges of Transylvania County, Overcoming Racism, and others that have spread into neighboring communities affecting thousands of people throughout Western North Carolina. But the centerpiece of her efforts would have to be a mentoring program called Rise and Shine.
We were living from week to week pretty much as far as the program. We started with less than $3,000 from United Way program and didn't know from week to week where the money was coming from. And often she would pull money out of her own pocket to buy resources. She begged probably every person in Brevard to donate something to our program. I'm just tenacious because I had never seen anyone who was not of color advocate for people of color at that length.
This unique program helps bring people of different races together.
It puts people in relationship, in face-to-face relationship over time so that they develop a friendship commitment to one another. Just the cars in the parking lot at Bethel A are a testimony against racism.
Most of these volunteers have never had any contact whatsoever with people of color.
We're interested in our volunteers taking the initiative to be in relationship to children and their families way beyond Rise and Shine. And so we're interested in their going to school and visiting their student at school, going to the student's home, taking the student and siblings out for ice cream or whatever, and extending that past the comfort zone that most of us so carefully define.
They are having these wonderful experiences with the children and with their parents, and they're getting an idea of what it's like in the black community, and those people are going out and telling their friends and passing it along, so that it's a growing thing.
The whole idea of a group of white people coming to the black community and advocating for our children, that didn't happen when I came here a few years ago.
Over time, we really anticipate creating a new cadre of leaders in our community. We want kids to soar as students, but we also want them to be here 20 years from now as leaders in our community.
But one of the most profound tools Fay promotes to fight racism is a simple one: friendship. Not just at her home, but at supper tables all across Brevard.
I know that dismantling racism is about a lot more than just being friends. And yet I believe that friendship is critical to the fight against racism, because it's friendship that holds us accountable.
She will have dinner at her house, and she will invite people that are totally different to come over to her house and have dinner. I've been on 2 occasions, and both times I've met people that, been very interesting to sit down and talk with. I never knew much about Catholics, and so she introduced me to a Catholic priest, and we had a very good conversation.
I think the things that really bind people are the discovery that all of us love our families. We love the community, the extended family. We want to be accountable to one another in the context of family and community, because we know we're better people when we are.
And not only has it changed me, I've seen it spill over into my own household. I've seen it spill over into other households and the community in general. So now I have a different viewpoint about that it's very important, if we're God's people, that we confront one another, that we interact, that we work at developing a relationship, because it changes people.
I know probably 200 to 250 white people who not only feel comfortable driving into and walking through the African American neighborhoods in our town, but know their way around those streets and know where the spatula is in the kitchens of black churches.
I think race relations in Brevard is for a small town in the South, is really something special. Not that it's perfect now, but the fact that there's a movement going. And I think without Fay, that movement would have choked out and died.
She's done what I could never do in the white community, and that's express my pain and really have people listen and not feel sympathy for me, but to actually get out and work to do something about that pain.
She has changed my life. She's changed my viewpoint about people in general, not just whites, but just humans.
I think Fay is one of the most remarkable people I have ever known. I keep telling her that she's the only person I have ever known that didn't have anything wrong with her. She assures me there is, but she won't tell me what it is.
She's one of those rare people who has gotten to the point where color isn't an issue. I don't even think she sees it. She just sees people as people.
Get people together, people across racial lines in particular, but I'm also interested in bringing anybody who thinks they're different together and keeping them face to face long enough to discover that we have a lot more in common than we have that separates us.